Welcome to the Bludd Heart Podcast, episode number 13. What we do here is talk about all things Diablo 3 related, and we do branch out to other topics. I might touch on Borderlands today. Yeah, since it is coming out quite soon here and in the near future. Timestamps will be in the description for everything, and the videos and the podcasts are posted on Tuesdays. You can check them out on all major platforms and even the YouTube channel. If you want to join the community in the comments, you can always hit me up on twitter.com/bloodshed. This week's topics include early leaderboards in Diablo. I'm going to kind of go through all the builds on the leaderboards and just kind of briefly touch on them. I skimmed through and wrote some notes so we can kind of look into see what class is performing and to what level. We're going to talk about the Blizzcon Poster. The Blizzcon artwork poster was released, and just kind of briefly touch on that and my thoughts on it. But first, let's talk about my life, man. My life has been, we've been grinding, right? That's 60 hours a week. We've been doing half Diablo 3, and so 30 hours of Diablo 3, and then 30 hours of World of Warcraft. And honestly, been loving it still. I know we talked about it last week. My days go by pretty fast. It's almost like I'm on a time crunch with one game, so I'm trying to get as much content or get as much progress on one as I can, and then I switch over, and it's like go, 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 right? It keeps me motivated, keeps me grinding, a nice change of pace as well. In Diablo 3, we did a 110 with our hardcore solo, exclusively solo, all right? Multi-shot Demon Hunter build, so that's been pretty good. We've been pretty glass cannon at this point. We stripped away a lot of our survivability and we keep adding more power. So yeah, again, my goal is to get to like a 120. We're at 110 like 2 weeks into the season. So as long as I slowly inch my way toward it, I think I'll be very happy. We've kind of decided our first alt's going to be a Uliana's or a Gen Monk for the first main alt on my main account. So I'm really excited about that. I already got it power leveled. It's, locked and loaded. As soon as I fix a few more gear pieces on my Demon Hunter, I'm going to start gearing out the Monk. The DH needs like a quiver and like a new better pair of gloves and a ring. It's little things like that. We haven't spent extreme amounts of time like we normally do. So there's still a lot of ways to progress being a couple weeks into the season as it is. I think it's like 17 days on this recording that the season's been live. And we have like maybe 1100-ish Paragon on our solo Demon Hunter, and my alt is just getting going. And then, of course, if you guys are following the hardcore Let's Play for Witch Doctor, that's been going really well. Also, we're, speed farming T11. We're about 15 hours in, roughly, and that's been going great. We're getting all our gems leveled and trying to get geared out. And we've had some setbacks with bad luck, but, it's part of it. Bad luck does happen, so you just have to roll with the punches, I suppose. In World of Warcraft, we hit level 42. So it's been fun just playing through, getting all the nostalgia feels and remembering like, oh, this quest is here, or I remember we used to do this, or just rolling on chests and dungeons and little things like that. The jump, the Wailing Caverns jump, man, like, the infamous jump, or like, I guess the dungeons have been really fun in general, running Scarlet Monastery. I had some big moments 15 years ago when I played WoW, running through dungeons with friends and experiencing them all over again has been a real treat. And then, of course, running through the Barrens and just, trade chat and everything like that. I feel like we're on a good server as well. If you guys want to join our server, we're the Blood Clan on Sulfurous Horde. So you're more than welcome to join us. Just, you can type !guild in my stream, or you can just message anybody from the clan. Hopefully we can find a way to get you invited. Message one of the officers, will get you right in. So that's been great. It's been fun enjoying both games, and yeah. All right, let's talk about this BlizzCon artwork poster that they released a few days ago. So it's the BlizzCon artwork poster. I'll try to remember to put a link, but you can always check the front page at Diablo fans, or just the main website, the BlizzCon. I think it's BlizzCon.com if you want to look at it for yourself. But there's the Tracers right up front. Like, she's like the first thing you see. Like, she's technically the focal point, I would say. People might think differently, but I think Tracer's definitely up front. She covers kind of both sides of the poster, and she's like this heroic pose, right? She's right front and center. which makes me think some huge Overwatch expansion is coming, or like maybe like Overwatch 2, like there's going to be a story mode or like a big story campaign that they're going to release. So a lot of people say Overwatch 2, not necessarily meaning they're going to replace the previous game. I think it's just like the sequel or like just the story version of Overwatch. Since Overwatch actually never launched with the story version, they've been releasing the story through various ways, like the comic books and cinematic shorts and just other ways, like they did the Sombra, right? So like there's a lot of different ways they've been releasing content, and I think this is going to be their official story mode, and I'm pretty excited for it. I would definitely play through it on stream, or maybe even do a let's play if you guys were interested. I love the lore of Overwatch, and I actually really like Overwatch lore. It's one of my favorites. I only kind of got disconnected from it when they added talking hamsters or whatever, or seemingly kind of voice box talks for it. But yeah, when they added the hamster, it was a little too much. It was a little too Disney for me, but it's fine, right? It's fine. On the left, you have Sylvanas, and so maybe she's going to be a focal point of like a WoW expansion. It makes me think that they're going to add, or they're going to announce like the World of Warcraft expansion. I think it's been 2 years since they announced an expansion at BlizzCon. I was there. That was when they announced Classic. So they announced Classic, and then they announced BFA. I think it was 2 years ago, like 2017. So yeah, hopefully we get to find out what's going on with the storyline. And she's on the poster, so she's going to be a huge focal point, whether she's like the main villain or she's this. A lot of people think they're going to break off and have 3 factions, or you'd be factionless going forward. You can choose whatever side you want. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. I'm excited for BlizzCon. This, the Overwatch story mode and freaking Sylvanas and then a new WoW expansion. I always love playing the new WoW expansions, at least playing through the story and just experiencing the game all over again. And then since I'm playing Classic, obviously I'm even more jazzed up about it, right? And then I could talk about all the other stuff like Hearthstone and StarCraft, but hey, let's talk about what is right in the middle, right? You have the BlizzCon emblem and it's right over the chest of a barbarian, right? So he's actually right in the middle. So I would say Tracer's the focal point, but she's right up front. But the barb is actually directly in the middle of the whole image. And he's looking like a noble barbarian. And one thing that I noticed by looking at him, to me anyway, it doesn't look like any of the barbs specifically that we know. Now, I didn't watch any other videos or what anybody else thinks. This is just my own opinion. So I could be way off base. I didn't go on Reddit or anything like that. So somebody could have actually figured this out already. But this is exciting because he doesn't look like the Diablo Immortal Barbarian. Like he looks 100% like a different barb, or maybe, yeah, the Diablo Immortal Barbarian's a little more peppered in his goatee and his hair. It doesn't necessarily mean that they could have just wanted to go a different direction with the artwork, obviously. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it definitely kind of makes me think like another Diablo game. Yo, the hype train constantly leaves the station, man. I don't know. Maybe the barb on the poster is the new barb set that we're going to get. Like we're supposed to get a whole new barb transmog set, because if you watched or listened to our previous podcast, Blizzard announced that we're getting all new sets, 1 set for every class in Diablo 3. So I'm thinking we're going to get that announced at BlizzCon. So that could actually be just like, a huge Diablo 3 patch where we get new sets. And this transmog could actually be that set, potentially. It doesn't look so flashy enough maybe to be that, but I think they wanted to I think this picture gets across the fact that it's a barbarian. He's kind of looking up in like a noble face, like he's like a noble look. And it's a real traditional, like bull cathos type of shoulder piece. And it's like a very traditional set of garb, right? Armor. Kind of like how Thrall, when they reintroduced Thrall to Warcraft, he had like very traditional armor. It wasn't like so, like whatever, overdrawn out or anything. It was almost like I think like a Frostwolf type setup. So, I don't know, man. This makes me feel good because it looks completely different, and it could just be Diablo 3. It could just be the direction they decided to go for. But yeah, if I was to guess, I would say I'm 51% thinking that this is going to have to do with a new like Diablo 4 announcement, if they were to announce Diablo 4, because it does look very traditional, and like Barbarian's been there since Diablo 1, right? I think it was called the Warrior, but I think the Barb or the Warrior's been the only class in every game. Don't quote me on that. I think so. So it was Warrior, and then it was Barbarian, and then Barbarian. So he's kind of like the face of Diablo in a way, even though I'm a huge wizard main sorceress, stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think, obviously, in the video. And maybe other creators like Riker might have actually dissected it further. Let me know what he said. If I didn't watch any other videos, like I was saying, let me know if maybe somebody found something out on Reddit or anywhere, right? I'm curious. I want to know about this poster, chat. You guys gotta let me know. Also, we should be getting the virtual rewards soon. So like 3 years ago, we got the Diablo pet. That was for the Darkening of Tristram release. And then we got, after that, the Merc pet, the Mercaden pet for the Necromancer. And then after that, we got the Asthma Dunk. You guys remember those pets that you get with the virtual ticket? The virtual ticket is like you're able to watch all the Blizzard panels, and you get to like watch everything on demand, like the opening ceremony and other stuff. Like behind the scenes info and things like that. You get to watch all that if you get the virtual ticket, and then they also give you rewards to go with it. So that's pretty awesome. We were on a panel in 2017, I believe. It wasn't, it was 2017. We were on a Living Blizzard panel. It was me, Trump, and Munition, Day 9. Also my boy Garrett. So that was a really fun experience to be a part of. So like you could actually, I believe, go back and watch those panels if you get the virtual ticket. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And then they give us these virtual rewards. And last year they announced them in September. And hey, we're in September, so hopefully we get to see what kind of pet we're getting or what else. I don't know, maybe like a portrait frame or wings or something. I'm excited to see what we get. I like toys in my favorite games like Diablo and stuff. All right, let's talk about these leaderboards. Okay, I'm just gonna start with Barb, since we're talking about Barb. Barb has cleared a 123 with 2 builds. They're currently tied right now, okay? As of the recording, September 9th, 2019, 999, all right? 99. Raycor Hoda cleared a 123, and Leapquake Barb cleared a 123. The Barb is rocking the new Flavor of Time, and Raycor Hoda, I believe, is rocking the new Mortix Brace, or the new, air quotes, new re-release Mortix Brace. So they're both currently tied, man. And I believe Raycor Hoda will pull ahead at the very end of the season, but it's nice to see multiple builds for Barb, neck and neck. So that they're both 123, and then you have the Wrath of the Waste set. The new Waste set is around a 121 right now. So it's very close. It's right there, hanging in there, Wrath of the Waste Barbarian. And then at a 120, which is one lower than Waste set, you have Lon Hoda Barb with obviously the Echoing Fury and all that stuff. The Echoing Fury just gives you so much crazy attack speed with Hoda. You're just like bang, 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 like with the freaking in Super Smash Brothers when you get the hammer and you're just chasing everybody down. That's kind of what it's like. And so you have from 120 to 123, you have 4 different Barb builds. Like I was saying in my tier list, Barb is just insane for that like variety. You're getting so much variety in one class. I love it. Like Raycor Hoda, and then Lon Hoda has a different playstyle, like hugely different playstyle. And then Wrath of the Waste and Leapquake are all varied. And I would imagine Charge Barb might be in the high teens as well, but it just takes somebody to push on it to really give it that good chance. You need somebody that farms a lot of Paragon, that also is really good at the game, and that cares enough to push on one of these like B tier builds, right? So if everything lines up, you can push a lot of builds pretty high. For Demon Hunter, we have a 123, another tie. So this is another 123 tie with Lon Rapid Fire and with Multi-Shot. They're both tied at 123. Both of these builds have insane Paragon though. Like the Multi-Shot, I believe, has like 3k Paragon already, which is pretty bananas. But they are utilizing the physical rune, which I'm going to probably experiment more with. If you use the fire rune, you get the rockets, and the rockets is really good for like single target. So like let's say under 10 enemies, the rockets from the fire rune will do better. But if you have a bunch of enemies, so when you're usually pushing, you usually fish for like huge amounts of density. That's when the physical rune takes over. The physical rune does better when you have like 10 or more enemies roughly. And then the fire rune does better just for your average, just like running and gunning and, DPSing single target, or, you have like those 2 elites left over. Like the fire rune will actually outperform, and the physical will outperform with more density. So 123 Multi-Shot, 123 Rapid Fire. And then you have a 121 with Impale. So Impale's not too far behind also, kind of like the way set was trailing behind, but Impale is really good. And one thing I noticed about Impale was there's a lot of different variations. The classic variation, an Guild variation, and then there's other things that they were mixing and matching. I expect a Captain Crimson set to pop up with Impale, but I haven't seen it yet. So maybe maybe I had it wrong. Maybe I'll go back and retest it. But it looks like the number one build is just a traditional Impale, and then an Guild Impale is number 2. But they're all so close, and it's still so early, whoever really cares about Impale could just be grinding Paragon right now. And that goes with all these builds. It's still early. It's only 17 days into the season, but it does kind of show an early look at the leaderboards. And then you have Monk. So Monk has a lot of Wave of Light, as you guys would guess, right? You can just skip ahead to the next timestamp. So Monk is at a 122 with Wave of Light currently, is what I found on the leaderboard. I was looking through Asia, Europe, and North America, right? So 122 with Wave of Light, a 122 with Uliana's, another freaking tie. So that's 3 classes in a row and 3 ties with different builds. So Uliana's in Asia. This happened last season. There was some Savage pushing with Uliana in Asia, and it's a different person this time around. But yeah, man, U6 is up there. I think it'll drop off, but still, it's nice to see that early game push. And then at a 119, you have Inna's, and then at a 118, you have Sunwuko Wave of Light. So Inna Wave of Light, Sunwuko Wave of Light. They're 1 level apart, and they are 3 or 4 levels behind Lawn Wave of Light. So they're all in the ballpark, but again, it's nice to see that Uliana. I did see some generator builds in the low teens popping up, and apparently generator build's pretty tanky and you can use it. So I'll look more into that and get back to you guys maybe in the future. Up next, we have Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is also tied at a 124, but it's not so varied this time around. You have Lawn Dagger at Darts / Lawn Carne Asada is what I like to call it. And then you have a 124 with Zuni Dagger at Darts. And there's a few different variations with Zuni as well. Some people were using Favorite Time. Some people were using the Endless Walk set. So again, it's 17 days in the season. We only had a week on the PTR and then a few days before the season started to really figure out all the builds. It's not easy to do in such a short time when there's, 40, 50 sets I can do past GR 110 probably. So there's that. If you don't know about Lawn Dagger at Dart, it's super chill to play. It also uses the Echoing Fury with Squirt's Necklace, and it's pretty good. So yeah, Witch Doctor's up there. Witch Doctor is actually the highest clear as of right now, right? But we're going to go into Wizard next, so you know what that's going to be. So Wizard as the top clear out of all the sets currently. It's a 136 with Veers, right? So Veers gets to take advantage of the Triune Rings. I say that because they can easily just, teleport right into the ring and start DPSing. They also take advantage of Squirt's Necklace, and they use the shields to block Squirts so you don't lose the bonus, and you can DPS and through Convention of Elements. So they have all these crazy multipliers and damage boosts to really amplify Veers. So everyone says it should get nerfed and all this stuff, but I really don't think it's going to end up rank 1. I definitely could be wrong. I think Lon Thorn's Necro is going to be 1, and I think Bazooka might edge it out slightly at the very end of the season. So I couldn't even see any Bazookas anywhere. Maybe I didn't look down too far, and there's probably some in the one, I don't know. I don't even want to guess. But last season, Bazooka beat Veers, and I don't think it's going to change this season. I think you'll see Bazooka passing out Veers late season. Since it is a lawn build, it's harder to gear, and Veers it's easier to gear for, and everyone's using it probably for speeds or whatever, pushing. So it's really powerful. Again, it can go either way, but I would say Thorns and then Bazooka and then Veers still. But it does have an early game dominance 17 days and somebody cleared a 136. There's a lot of people. I think Rob and EU did a 134 solo. So it's a pretty beast of a build, man. And you got to respect it. You got to put some respect on the Veers there. Up next, we have Crusader, Lon, Blessed Shield. It's dominating, man. It's particularly dominating in Asia mostly, but it is the best Crusader build on the leaderboard right now. There was some lazy shotguns I found, but nothing was really close. So you can find Lawn Lazy Shotgun on my build page, Lawn Blessed Shield on my build page. It's just really good, man. It still dominates. And again, you have the Triune Rings and you have all the other toys that were added. So definitely check the build if you're curious about it. But 127 would be the second highest build. It was technically higher than like Dagger of Darts, Zuni, and all these other builds. Wave of Light, Multi-Shot, Reikor Hoda, right? It's technically the second strongest right now. Until this next one, Necromancer is the second strongest at a 130 with Thorns. So Necro is at a 130, and it's the Thorns Necro. It's just really good. It's very particular to Gear 4 and a particular play style. But if you can get through it, then you can definitely own some faces with it. I found a Lawn Singularity at 125, so 5 levels behind it. And it's pretty squishy. Lawn Mages is pretty squishy at 125. So you have to really fish and get that right map type. I guess that goes with most builds. There's a lot of fishing involved, so you kind of have to go through the motions and everything like that. Let me know what's your big takeaway from hearing the leaderboard 17 days in. 136 with Veers is kind of like, yikes, that's pretty high. And then Necro at 130 already is, even if you take off Wizard from the game, Necro's at 130, which is like pretty much farther away from every other class. If it wasn't for that one Savage in Asia with Lawn Blessed Shield, it's pretty much like at least 5 levels away from everybody else. And then Wizard's like 5 levels away from Necro currently. But like I said earlier, it's early season. Some builds develop more over time and with a higher Paragon, as I get more and more Paragon. And like I fully expect Impaled, like I think in North America, Impale's dominating Multi-Shot. But Multi-Shot in Europe was doing really well. So I think like once you get more and more Paragon, Multi-Shot will be better and people will be like, damn, this build's legit. And like same thing with Thorns and Bazooka Wizard, like they do better later on. And I think we'll see that reflecting on leaderboards, just like we did the last 2 seasons, like nothing's going to change. The same thing with Witch Doctor and Witch Doctor Lawn and then Witch Doctor with Zuni. I fully expect Lawn to pull away from Zuni super late game, but right now they're kind of competitive with each other. For Monk, I could see Lawn pulling away from Uliana, Innas, and Sun Wukong, like just completely leaving them in the dust. I think Wave of Light will be like in the 30s, like the 135, 132 to 135. Like it's pretty bold, but I think that would be in that territory. And then for Demon Hunter, like we talked about that. So that's an early look at the leaderboard. Let me know what you guys think. Again, like I said, I'm always curious to see like what the consensus is. I talk to the community, like, I've streamed like 6 days a week for over 3.5 years. So I always like to hear feedback. And then usually when you hear me talk or say something, it's just of people I talk to or me like studying the game. And it just helps me too. I like to know what you guys are thinking. As far as community questions go, the community corner, Yo, Blood. People asking me all the time, yo, Blood, can you help me with my build? I'm using your build and, it's not working. And then I do a gear check and it's not the build, right? It's something different. So if you are suffering from a bad build, like you're stuck in the 80s or 90s or the low hundreds, make sure you're using the build exactly as it is. It could be like one item and you might not think it's a big deal, but that one item could be like Stone Gauntlets, right? Stone Gauntlets give you 250% armor. That could be the difference between you dying constantly or living. So make sure to copy and paste it exactly how it is. If you have any questions, you can always ask me on stream. I'll do my best not to troll so hard, but you have to copy it, man. We've had a lot. If you watched the Let's Play, we had one on the Let's Play. We had one today on stream. It's like every day there's like 1 or 2 people that say that they're using the build exactly as it is, but it's not. So I would imagine there's other people, right? It takes courage or it takes somebody to go out of their way to go into a stream and ask the question. I appreciate that. So there must be other people out there that need help. So just make sure you're following all the stab priorities. All my Diablo fan links are working. I've made sure I comb through them and there's no inaccuracies. If there is, let me know again. I'll try to fix them as soon as possible. But it could just be one little thing that you think is not a big deal or you want to take liberties on some rune and might think that Stone of Jordan's better than Focus and Restraint, but it's not. And then you're not doing any damage and yada, yada, yada. So yeah. That's pretty much the main community questions we've been getting all week. As far as other gaming news, whoa, my God, we got Borderlands 3 releasing on September 13th. it's going to be hard not to play it if I don't play it. I think I'm going to wait for the Steam release because I'm super into WoW and season, 19 Diablo right now. I just realized I keep calling it season 19. I must be drunk, dude. I don't know why I keep calling it season. And all the seasons are mixing together. I think I'm going crazy, guys. I don't know, man. Season 18. I'm super into season 18 and super into World of Warcraft right now. And I'm happy with my character, man. I put time in, like I don't really want to. But all these games are coming out. So I'm waiting on Monster Hunter to release for the Steam release. That's in January. It's confirmed for January. And then I'm waiting for Borderlands, I think, for Steam. But I might cave and play it. Let me know if you guys are going to play it. I might actually cave. There was some early reviews of Borderlands. I'm not going to get into any spoilers or anything like that. But there was early reviews of it. And it's getting a lot of 8 out of 10s, which is solid, right? 8 out of 10 for a game is good. It's good. It's a passing grade. It's like a B. I did comb through some of these reviews. And again, no spoilers, okay? I combed through some of the reviews. And maybe I'm just a Borderlands snob or whatever. But, okay, it looks like they have no idea what they're talking about. So it makes me want to play it more just to see if what they're saying is true. All right. So, again, I just don't want to spoil the game for those of you that are going to enjoy it. But it was a lot of things. They basically weren't happy with loot-based games like Diablo 3, right? Borderlands and Diablo 3 is like an explosion of loot, or you're replacing your gear a lot. And it's like a RPG. You build up, get stronger, grind. It seems like they were complaining about the genre versus Borderlands itself. So I don't know. I think maybe the user reviews, without even playing it, will be in the high 8s or the low 9s. And then it looks like the Metacritic reviews will be like in the 8s. I don't know. Everything that I've seen was around an 8 out of 10. I think one gave it like a 9 out of 10. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. If you guys do play it, let us know. And maybe I'll get back to you guys. Maybe I'll play it, at least for launch, and just to get an idea so we can talk about it more. Oh man, this was a fun one, man. We got to crack open the leaderboards and all kinds of fun stuff. If you want to support the podcast further, you can always subscribe on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube. Whoa, speaking of patrons, can we bring it up here? Yo, shout out to Pango for rejoining the Patreon club, dude. Yo, thank you so much for your support there, Pango, man. It really means a lot. If you're out there, if you're listening. And Patrick, if I didn't give you a shout out before, Patrick, thank you also for supporting and joining. We appreciate that. We got a lot of patrons this month, like Calgi and Eddie and Nicholas. Welcome. Steve, welcome to the Patreon. Thank you for taking the time to support the podcast and everything that we do here. Support anywhere, review the podcast on Apple Music. That would help a lot too. It just kind of all funnels back and supports the stream, and it really, really helps out. I'm going to keep all the builds updated on Patreon. Eventually, I'm going to get my own website, but as of right now, it works out great. Because I could just have it all there, and it's like I don't have to get like a separate thing, and then I can just change it and edit it however I want. Also, I don't know if I touched on it before I go. I will be at Blizzcon this year, and it looks like a lot of people from the community are going. So please come up and say hi, man. I want to meet everybody, and we're going to talk about more and more as we get closer to Blizzcon and more tidbits get released. And we have like the virtual rewards and all that stuff. We're going to crack open BlizzCon with a predictions episode and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I will be there. And I live like an hour away in San Diego, and BlizzCon's in Anaheim. So it's like an hour and a half tops to get there. We're neighbors, man. Me and Blizzard are practically neighbors. I should go knocking on the door and ask for Diablo 4 for you guys, right? Anyway, that's going to be all for me today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this week. Again, I'll have timestamps in the description for you guys. This is the Bluddshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.